Governor, I saw you give a pretty passionate speech to, I believe it was maybe the Minnesota Assembly. I'm not sure what it was. On the day I think that they were going to finally legalize medical marijuana, and it was
No,
powerful.
recreational.
Oh, recreational, right? They'd already done the medical. Can you talk about what you said, why that moment was really important for you to be there, and how that
Well,
subject touched your life so much?
absolutely. First and foremost, it wasn't a full assembly. It was the committee, a couple of the committees I went to. And I laugh about it because I actually spent more time in the Senate and House buildings doing the marijuana stuff than I did 4 years as governor. Because when I was governor, they'd come to me. I didn't have to go over there. They'd come over to me. But no, what got me involved was this. About a decade ago, the First Lady of Minnesota, the 38th, my wife Terry, developed late in life epileptic seizure disorder. She was seizing 2 to 3 times a week. And these were the debilitating seizures where the person is down on the floor, you're holding their head, you're making sure that they can breathe, that their air passages aren't obstructed. You're completely helpless until the seizure does what it's going to do. And you lay there in hopes of not watching the person you love most in the world die in your arms. That's how I felt. Well, what did we do? We went to the doctors. The doctors put my wife on 4 different seizure medications through pharma, one after the other, after the other, after the other. None of them worked. They all had horrible side effects. We were desperate, and we were reading how marijuana or cannabis was helping these epileptic children who were getting seizures. So I have my home in Mexico. I have friends from Colorado at the time, which was the first state to lift the prohibition. Hooray to Colorado. They have a place in my heart. They were the ones with the courage and the guts. I tried to do it 20 years ago when I was governor and ran into a brick wall. Anyway, had to drive my wife to Colorado. And it was this bad. She had a seizure in the motel the night before we got there. We get to Colorado. Our friends go in. Now they have cards to get it for them. So they're actually breaking the law to buy from my wife. But they went in and bought for her, and it was liquid, 3 drops under the tongue. They bought enough for her, 3 drops under the tongue, and then they started mailing it to us, so that we could have a supply. My wife has not had a seizure since.
Wow.
Since she took the 3 drops under the tongue. Now, I'm not saying it'll work for everybody. Nothing works for everybody necessarily, but there certainly are other people out there that can be helped and shouldn't have to go through what we went through. Well, then we come back to Minnesota and get it illegally. Minnesota finally legalizes medical. But because they're so restrictive, it costs me $600 a month to keep my wife seizure-free. And insurance won't pay for what works. They gladly pay pharma for all this, excuse my bluntness, bullshit medicine they gave. Oh, we'll pay for that. It don't work, but we'll pay for it. Cannabis, they won't pay for. It was costing me $600 a month. I can't write it off, can't do nothing to keep my wife from having seizures. I almost moved to Colorado because I thought this is the price of a mortgage. I can move out to Colorado, get it for my wife out there for probably $40 a month. Save myself over $500. Well, they've opened up in Minnesota now. Now it's down to $300. And the reason I want the recreational, first and foremost, they shouldn't even divide it up. My good friend Tommy Chong, who knows more about pot than anybody on the planet, Tommy told me that's a mistake because the entire plant is medical. Those that smoke it for the euphoric feeling in the head, they're doing it for mental health. They're doing it to calm down, to relax, or like what I use it for, sleeping. I have nonspecific neuropathy of the feet. In other words, my feet are numb and they can't tell me why. I went to the Mayo Clinic. I can't sleep at night. And everybody tells you today, if you don't get proper sleep, you get all these other bad things happen to you. Well, I can't sleep unless right before bed, I do cannabis, which dulls down my feet problem. And it also works on my post-traumatic stress from the veteran stuff.
Right.
You know, and so both my wife and I have been saved by marijuana, but my wife especially. And all we're asking for is open up the market, treat it like alcohol. And then they talk here, I'm going to bitch now about this. Then they talk about at what age. And they get all these scientists come in and say the human brain keeps developing till age 25 and THC can have an effect on the brain. So to be perfectly safe, you shouldn't let anybody use marijuana till they're 25. My response to that is wait a damn minute. I was 18 years old when I enlisted in the United States Navy. I went at age 19 through Navy SEAL training in Coronado. You know about that.
Mm-hmm.
At age 20, I had deployed to a 9-month deployment, Southeast Asia, and came home from Vietnam. I had been back 1 week, and I went into my executive officer and I said, I want to go back to Vietnam right now. He said, what's the problem? I said, here's the problem. Over there, I'm an adult. Here, I'm a child. Sir, I can assure you I am no longer a child after going to war. And what did I learn from that? We send children to war because we don't grant them the privileges of being adult. You're telling me that I could go give my life up for my country, or potentially kill for my country, and I'm not old enough to smoke a joint? That's what they're saying? I'm not old enough, my poor little brain. Well, what about the brainwashing you get in boot camp? What effect did that have on my undeveloped 18-year-old brain that wasn't developed to age 25 like they're talking about? The bottom line is treat it the same as alcohol. Pick a number and decide when you're an adult. Okay, if you want it to be 21, then you can't go in the military till 21. Because if they let you go in the military at 18 and don't grant you the privileges of being adult, isn't that child abuse? Yeah. Sending children to war?
Do you think 21 should be the age before anyone's allowed to enlist?
No. I think 18 should be.
Okay.
But the point is, make it for everything.
Right.
If you're old enough to serve your country and you're old enough to potentially die for your country or kill for your country's benefit, doesn't that make you an adult?
Yeah.
Well, because if you're not, then they should be prosecuted for child abuse.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, it's Brian Rose, founder of the DeFi Academy. I've told you my 4-week crypto bootcamp is amazing, but don't take my word for it. This is what my students are saying.
The DeFi Academy was an amazing experience for me. It took me totally out of my comfort zone.
In this course, I was challenged, I was held accountable, and pushed to do things that honestly weren't always easy.
It's been phenomenal, and I can't believe we're already up on our 4 weeks. It has flown by.
Going through this DeFi accelerator, by far was one of the best courses I've taken.
You do this course, you really get into the nitty-gritty of the activities that will make you comfortable with decentralized finance.
Thank you so much to Brian and everyone at London Real and the DeFi Academy for even putting together an amazing course like this.
Anybody else that wants to do it, please sign up. It is well worth the money.